What can you do when your family, your loved ones, shun, ostracise and cut you out of their life because you are not a member of their religious group anymore? How do you cope? What can you do? In this video, I'm going to tell you my experiences, how I coped, and my story might just be a little piece of the jigsaw that might help somebody. I couldn't work out what title to use for this, so I went on social media and I asked, and many replied, and if you had time to comment, I would like to thank you. There were possibilities of calling it things like how to cope when your family shun you, how to survive when a cult has destroyed your family, what do you do when your parents have nothing more to do with you, and some great creative ones as well. But the one which got by far the most votes, which I'm going to use a variation of, is coping with a cult-torn family. How do you do that? Well, my personal story of being shunned started when I was 4. The man of God, the leader of the exclusive brethren, was found in bed with a naked woman, married lady. And his excuse or his reason was that he was doing it to shake off people who weren't really for him. And it certainly did. It shook off 8,000 people who left. They weren't having any of that. But my family stayed in, but my 4 grandparents, they left. And that was the last I saw of them. And so I experienced what it was like as being a shunner, because we then shunned them. We cut them out of our life and had nothing more to do with them. And as a 4-year-old, it was quite confusing and a lot of fear involved because now we were told that they were very wicked people, and that's how I grew up thinking that. Then when I was 22, I escaped the exclusive brethren. I left them. I didn't want to leave my parents, who I loved and love, but they were not allowed to have anything to do with me. Excuse me, let me just press this camera. Right. And so I was shunned and ostracized, and how it works out is very simple with cults. The leader influences them to have nothing to do with you, either physically or emotionally, whether it's a group of leaders or one leader. And that's what happened. And so how did I cope? Well, I've made a few notes because I recognise 3 stages that I went through on this journey. It's been a long one. They are sadness, understanding and celebration. And it started with sadness. And when I left home, I went to my apartment on the 7th of November 1988 and I cried uncontrollably for 3 hours, non-stop. I was absolutely devastated of the fact that my parents may never see me again. I may never see my parents again. It was absolutely terrible thought and feeling. And I want to say that it's okay to be sad. It's okay to express our emotions. Blocking and hiding and suppressing them can cause problems later in life. And I just realised that it was a great thing to really get out of my system then, and to go through a season, of sadness. And of course, sadness may never leave fully, because when you're separated from your loved ones, that is always going to be a sad situation, isn't it? But it doesn't end there. There's understanding to be had, and this is the second stage I recognise. Understanding can be like what light is to darkness. It dispels it. And a massive understanding came to me in a dream, which I tell in a previous video called Healing from Cultic Separation, #1. It was a dream that gave me a clear understanding that these people who we love, who are shunning us right now, are seriously incapacitated people. They're disabled by the coercive indoctrination that has been branded into their psyches like possession. Indoctrination is like possession. Unless you've been indoctrinated, it's very difficult to understand. But let me give you an example. Imagine if someone said to you, you've got 3 noses on your face. And you say, no, I've got 1. No, you've got 3. Let me explain and talk to you about it. And you will think, nah, I'm not going to waste my time. I've got better things to do with my life than to waste my time talking about discussing whether I've got more than 1 nose. Now, indoctrinated people feel the same way about anything contrary to what they're being indoctrinated about. they don't want to waste their time thinking about it, talking about it. They are completely and utterly taken over in their minds by what their cult leader and what the religious group has indoctrinated them into believing. Definition of indoctrination is instilling a set of beliefs in someone in such a way that they are unwilling or unable to question or evaluate those beliefs independently. In effect, indoctrinated people are disabled from critical thinking and analysis. They are possessed with the rhetoric and the doctrine of the indoctrinator. That understanding about our loved ones who shun us can really help when you understand that they are critically, dysfunctionally disabled due to the indoctrination. Another understanding is where there's separation and division and shunning and ostracizing, there's always fear. It's all rooted in fear. And understand this, that they are fearful of you. They will say they aren't, of course, but they are. They're fearful of what could happen to them should they have normal family life with you, talk to you, eat with you, drink with you, go on holidays, go shopping, whether they to partake in normal funeral, wedding, birthday arrangements. They fear what can happen to them because they've been indoctrinated by their leader. And again, understanding that can make a massive difference. Another understanding that can really help is to know that a heinous act has been committed against you, though the law of the land doesn't recognise it yet. You have been a victim of one of the most cruelest acts of humanity. Parents being influenced and persuaded to separate themselves from their children, either emotionally or physically. What was once a happy family unit is now destroyed by the indoctrination of a religious cult. When you understand that what has happened to you was not love, it wasn't care, it wasn't merciful, you might feel a weight lift off your shoulders. It wasn't your fault. You've done nothing wrong. You've left behind a system of man's error, ego and arrogance and self-righteousness that was void of love. Conditional love is not love. You are free now to love everyone unconditionally, which leads to the third stage, celebration. Celebration. This is something we can move towards, and this is how I began to cope with the shunning and the ostracizing of my family. Here's a big one. Here's something to celebrate about. At least you can love them unconditionally. You're free to love everyone. Cultic love is conditional, temporal. It actually isn't love. It's love for their idol, for their leader. He gets their total devotion and compliance. He is valued more than the children. But now you can experience the exhilaration and freedom to love. Another reason to celebrate is if I had stayed inside, I'd be a family separator. By being part of those groups that separate families, you're party to the separation. You're condoning it. Imagine destroying a family. We're free from that all now. We're free from that crap. Another reason to celebrate, you're now free to explore this beautiful world we live in without laws restricting you, without fear breaking cult law. On the website www.escape.com, I did a survey and asked the best thing about leaving the cult was, and I got many replies, which are all on the website, and here's just a few things that people said, reasons to celebrate. You're now free to discover that there are so many amazing people in this world. Freedom to express yourself without condemnation, freedom to make your own choices, freedom to discover my identity, and freedom to live and enjoy life to the full. The best thing for me was the realization that evil is not the basic condition of human beings. It feels good to rediscover my true self. Now I can think for myself. It's awesome to no longer be under mind control. I feel free for the first time, being able to sleep in at the weekends, guilt-free. And someone said the best thing I think of leaving the cult is living a guilt-free life. Sadness, yes. But understanding, yes. Research, get understanding, pursue it. But then, don't forget celebration. Since you watched this video almost to the end, here's a little bonus. See this picture behind me? It's called The Joy Explosion. I painted it a few years ago. Do you want a closer look? We all start off in life here. We go around a few bends, don't we all? But it ends in a joy explosion. That's what it ends in. If you haven't had it yet, keep going. It's on the way. Keep celebrating. Don't give up. Keep going.